G'day and welcome to this week's FriBaT, Friday Beers and Tools. It's a special weekend this one, Anzac Day tomorrow, so make sure you get out to the end of your driveway, celebrate, have a beer, listen to the last post and think about those who've fallen to give us the lifestyle and freedom that we have today. Today we're going to review another of the James Squire beer range. This is James Squire, the Swindler. We spoke a little bit previously about James Squire and his history, or a history as Australia's first beer maker, but I found out a little bit more information about James and also how they came about naming this particular brew in James's honour. James, as we found out from previous FriBaTs, was a convict on the first fleet from England to Australia, so therefore part of the first settlement to Australia, and he somehow swindled his way onto the ship transporting the female convicts. Smart man James was. So this is how this beer got its name, the Swindler. Alright, let's taste it. The Swindler is a tropical ale in the James Squire range, so therefore it's a fruitier ale. Happy Friday. Very fruity, probably a little bit more than what I like. It is a fairly light ale. It sort of has notes of like passion fruit and melon and that sort of thing. It'd probably be really nice with seafood actually. Refreshing. Not quite my cup of tea. What else can I tell you about it? Standard stubby size. This is 1.1 standard drinks with 4.2% alcohol. Yeah, tropical ale. I don't know whether I'm a fan of tropical ales. It's not bad. Not quite my cup of tea. I'm going to give the James Squire, the Swindler tropical ale, probably 3 spanners out of 5. Rightio, on to our tool review for today. For those that know me and those that have been watching for a while know that I'm a pretty big fan of Amazon. Amazon is relatively new to Australia, it's been around in the States for a long time, and they've got a really good range of affordable tools. This week I'm going to review a transfer punch set. I actually saw this in use on another YouTube channel and I thought, what a great idea. A really good system for transferring centres of holes onto markouts. It's a very sort of a niche tool. You use punches all the time, but a transfer punch, probably not really common. So what does a transfer punch do? For any of you that have done any sort of metalwork where you have a hole in a piece of metal and you need to find the exact centre of that piece of hole to be able to transfer or punch a centre point of that hole on a surface underneath it, know that it sometimes can be hit and miss. Most of us over the years, I've drawn around the outside of the hole and then tried to dissect the circle to find the centre. This punch set helps remove all of that error. It comes in it's a 28 piece set and the sizes go from 3/32 of an inch up to half an inch, and they increase in size by 1/64. Also comes with a larger one from, as I said, from 3/32 up to 1/2. The larger one is 17/32 as well. Right, so what does a transfer punch do, or how does it work? You get the punch size relative to the hole that you're trying to find the centre of obviously only up to 1730 seconds. And then, whether you can see that there, it has a very fine point in the center. So by placing that through the hole, you can then transfer the center of that hole punch onto the material underneath it. Do you need it for your toolkit? No. It's another one of those handy to have specific tool sets that's not very dear, but certainly not something that you need if you're starting out. Those that know me know that I have a very extensive tool collection now, and I do like buying specialist type tools. Is it very good value for money buying a lot of specialist tools? Probably not. Have I got a job that I've actually need these for at the moment? No, please don't tell Mrs. Gray. But handy to have in your kit. Right, down to the price. On Amazon, these were $35 delivered, I think from Amazon US. Amazon has an Australian store, as you can imagine, as does UK, etc. And sometimes if products are available on Amazon US, if you're an Amazon Prime member, you get free delivery. In that case, I'm an Amazon Prime member, and these came from Amazon US for $35 Australian delivered. Value for money. It's a hard one to put a value on because, as I said, it's quite a specialist type tool. If you're doing a lot of metalwork, a lot of transfer metalwork, etc., where you need to find the center of holes accurately, it's probably a relatively good value for money. For the average garage, shed, workshop, you don't need it, so it's not very good value for money. Value, very subjective. I'm going to put a 2.5 beers out of 5 for value. For functionality, it's one of those things that for its actual function, and it only really has one function, which is finding the center of holes and marking them, its functionality is really good. But if you were to look at it in a broader scale, could you do the same thing with a single ordinary punch? Yes, you can. Could you do it as accurately? You would have to be more careful with your marking out, but yes, it will do the same job. So value for money, $35, not a lot of money to spend on a set of punches, which of course can be used as normal punches as well. So value for money, I'm going to put a 3.5 beers out of 5 for the Nico transfer punch set, 28-piece transfer punch set. Comes in a nice solid plastic holder, although of course doesn't hold them in place, so in your toolbox, if your toolbox is mobile, they're still going to go everywhere. I've got to work out how to do that yet and make sure they don't. Not a bad product. Rightio, for our second big tool of the week. This is a workhorse of mine. I've had this drill for quite some time, and it has the scars and wear to show. It is part of the Makita LXT range, so therefore it's the 18-volt cordless model. Eagle eyes will see no brushless written on it. This is a brushed motor. There is a brushless version, which I will talk about at the end, but obviously I can't review it because I don't own it yet. This is the Makita DHP 458. I'll put up here what the equivalent is in the States, because Makita and Milwaukee and all those seem to have two sets of numbers for some reason between the American market and the rest of the world maybe. I'm not sure why that is, but anyway, in Australia this is the DHP 458. It is part of the LXT range, so it has the 18-volt batteries. This particular one's a 4 ampere hour, and of course they go right up to 6 or 8 ampere hour now. I bought this as a skin, so as a tool alone, which means that when you buy it, it's a DHP 458Z. There is a kit as well, which I will put a picture of up here, I think, where it comes with a battery or 2 batteries and a charger, or it may even come as a set with an impact wrench as well. Right, what can I tell you about the DHP 458? It is a hammer drill for starters. I was very dubious at first about an 18 volt hammer drill, but given the battery technology nowadays and the power of these little motors, bear in mind it's not a brushless motor, it does still have brushes, is pretty amazing. I have used it in earnest, using it in the hammer drill mode, although if you're doing a lot of hammer drilling, I would use a corded version because it ain't going to last long doing a lot of hammer drilling. It has 21 torque settings, which is changeable around the front here. 21 seems really excessive to me, and again, I'll talk about the brushless version. It has reduced the number of torque settings that are available on the front here. It has 3 settings on the chuck as well. It has hammer, drill and screw. It also has a 2-speed mechanical gearbox, but like most drills nowadays, it has a variable speed trigger as well. Right, some of its torque and specifications. As I said, it is an impact wrench. On the high setting, it goes from 0 to 30,000 impacts per minute, or IPM, and on the low setting, it goes from 0 to 6,000 impacts per minute. It has a 2-speed gearbox, as I said, and on the high setting, that will run to 0 to 2,000 RPM, variable, and on the low setting, which is used more for screwing, etc., 0 to 400 RPM. I think I had that the other way around then, but that's okay, you get the idea. It is a 13mm chuck, so it will take pretty big sized drill bits. It has a max torque of 91 Newton meters, which is pretty good. Remember, it is a drill, not an impact wrench, and of course it's reversible. Has the on-offs, or locking, center locking, and reverse and forward button here beside the trigger. It does have the battery remaining indicator, a bit hard to show you there, and it also has the Makita light for on your job. It weighs, net weight, 2.3 kilos. Again, Makita, I think, quote their weights without the battery installed, so that's a pretty hefty, just over 5 pounds. It's got a bit of weight to it. It feels solid. It feels like it would actually last a long time, and it has. I've probably had this for about 5 or 6 years now, and it is still the current brushed version available on the Makita range. I think it's the heaviest 18 volt cordless drill in the range, apart from the brushless. Right, let's give it a rating before I talk about the brushless version. What do I give the DHP 458 brushed impact 18 volt Makita drill for value? I better tell you how much it is before I do that. It is available in Australia for about $199 for the skin alone, which is pretty good value for its size, weight and ability. So therefore I give it a solid 4.5 out of 5 beers for value for money. Functionality, as I said, I have put this thing through a fair amount of hell. It has drilled 1/4 inch plate steel, it has drilled wood, hardwood, it has done some impact drilling. Again, my caveat there is don't expect it to do a lot of impact drilling, because impact drilling is pretty hard on a drill. And its battery life is pretty good. Being a big heavy brushed motor, it does use a fair bit of battery power, but if you've got cordless tools, then you know you need to have more than a couple of batteries ready to go if you're doing a fair bit of work with it. For functionality, Like I said, I've owned this for probably about 6 years and put it through hell and back, and it is running well, although it is a little brush smelling, but it has worked pretty damn hard. For value for money at $199, I give this a 5 beers out of 5 value. Right. It does have a tool belt clip as well, which of course I don't use. It does have a tool holder on the side too for your bits, for your Phillips and standard screwdriver bits. The Makita produce a brushless version, almost exactly the same dimensions, pretty much the same weight. I think it's slightly heavier, but a brushless motor, so more powerful and more efficient, and that is the DHP 481. The difference is mainly two things between the brushed and the brushless version. First one is cost. As I said, this one's about $199. The brushless version is $329. Australian, so a massive difference in price. I don't own one, so I can't do a direct comparison, but that seems like a hell of a lot more money for the brushless motor. If this one was dying, or if I didn't have a decent brushless, I would buy the brushless, if I didn't have a decent cordless impact drill, I would probably buy the brushless motor version only because they are more efficient. But again, for most people, the difference between $200 odd and $329 is significant. It's almost another tool. The other difference, as I mentioned, between the brushed and the brushless version, as I said, this has a max torque of 91 Newton meters. The brushless is up to 125 Newton meters. So a considerable gain there in torque or power of the actual drill, which is important if you're drilling through heavy steel, etc. I would suggest if you're doing a lot of heavy work, you should be using a corded drill if it's available to you. These are great for not being tied down to house power, but again, if you're drilling lots of 1/4-inch plate steel, use a corded drill if you can, because it'll kill one of these pretty quickly. So, the brushless version, DHP 481, as I said, I don't own it. I'm not going to upgrade this honey. I'm not going to go out and buy a $329 tool to replace the perfectly good $200 tool that I already have. But I would struggle even to recommend buying the brushless version over the brushed version. Like I said, I'm really pleased with this tool and it's been awesome. Too much talk, not enough drinking. Anyway, that's it for this Friday's FriBaT, Friday Beers and Tools. Hope you enjoyed that. Please like, share and subscribe. If you think somebody would get some information or something good out of this, please refer them onto it. Make sure you hit that little bell button on your subscription as well, so that it lets you know when I upload a new video. And please comment. Comments make a huge difference to the YouTube algorithm, apparently. I don't know how, I don't understand that, but apparently they do. So please comment, even if it's, yeah, great video, enjoyed it, or you're really crap, please don't do that again. It doesn't matter to me. I read all the comments and I reply to all my comments. When I get into the thousands of subscribers, that might be more difficult, but anyway, here's hoping. I kind of want to experience that. Anyway, that's it for today. As I said, tomorrow's Anzac Day, very special day to Australians and New Zealanders. It is probably our most reverent military Veterans Day. So please get out to the end of your driveway. It sucks this year not being able to have Anzac Day marches and Anzac Day services where we get together and remember our fallen comrades. But get down to the end of your driveway tomorrow morning at 5:30, play the last post on your mobile phone, and light a candle for the veterans that have gone before us to give us the way of life that we cherish so much today. Thanks very much for watching. See you next week.